Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Varsha from Fuerteventura Times. Today, on Women's Day, we'll be interviewing Irina Papancheva, who has recently released a book called She the Island, which is an odyssey of love and discovery to Fuerteventura. She joins us from the Bulgarian city of Burga, and today we hear about She the Island from Irina Papancheva. Welcome.
Hi, Varsha, and hi, everyone.
Thank you, Irina. So today we'll be understanding about your book She the Island. Where did this inspiration to write a book about Fuerteventura come from? How did this start?
The inspiration was the Fuerteventura itself. I went there in 2010 for the first time on a 2-week week holiday, and I was literally enchanted by the island. I loved the landscape, the colors, and just everything think about it. Yet this was not a reason for me to write a novel. I heard some stories, especially about a tragic incident with a young German couple, and immediately I saw it in a plot. I saw a story enveloping, and I sat and wrote a couple of pages with who my characters would be, what will happen, just some initial ideas, and it was meant to be a love story taking place nowadays and in the past, and linking it to this German submarines in the Second World War.
Mhm.
But then I started writing another novel. It was a summer of many inspirations. So I got another inspiration in my own city, Burgas, and I focused on this novel first. I wrote it, published it, and in 2014 went back Fuerteventura to start writing She the Island. I didn't know that would be the name then, but to start writing about the island on the island.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Congratulations for completing your book and publishing it. It's your fifth novel. It's your fifth book, so that's really impressive, Irina. Tell me one thing. I mean, your description of She the Island refers to Fuerteventura as the main character, as this feminine beauty. Why Fuerteventura? Why the characters in your novel think that Fuerteventura is feminine, and why is she female? Why is she magnanimous? Why is she magical? Why is she so spiritual? Why the island as a feminine structure?
First of all, this is my own experience of the island, and since 2014, I went back to the island multiple times. The first year, only in 2014, I went back to the island 3 times, and then every year, either twice or at least once per year. Only last year and this year I haven't been yet, but it is for the it is due to the COVID, and also meanwhile, well, I have become a mother myself. But each time when I'm there, actually a couple of things happened. Let me start from this first first trip after the 4-year break.
Yeah.
I went back with the idea of this love story, which
Mhm.
I would be writing, and with my characters in my head, and then very interesting things started happening, and basically I met. Already in the first days, I met so many people, different people from different circles, including think the Bulgarian photographer Emilian Draganov, who lives on the island.
Okay.
That I started collecting many more stories and ideas than what I had initially envisaged.
That's amazing.
So thought this. I just went with the flow, and a new character appeared, which was not there initially. The character of the writer, and this character made it possible for me to put together all the stories and all the people whom I found in my research and my journey. My characters, so myself, I feel the Ventura being feminine because of its it's so the feeling of me of being there, and its landscape.
Yes.
It's very relaxed. It's round. It's so feminine. There is something mystical about Fuerteventura, something which is more than a landscape. There is a soul to the island, and the philosopher Unamuno, he also felt this way when he went there, went on an exile, and he first saw it as a very poor place, but then being there, he built also such a strong connection to the island, and he called it my Atlantida, my Atlantis. And he saw in my novel. So for my other characters, they experienced this. He saw in my novel. So for my other characters, they experienced this in different ways. For my female characters, being on the island, they don't maybe for one of them, Carla, the like German surfer, she's there for the surf. Another one, the writer, goes there to write a novel about Unamuno. The third one, Marina, she is taken there by her husband in an attempt from his side to help her with her depression. But the three of them, these are the three key female figures. Being on the island, they experience things, and they dare to go out of their comfort zone, and to really to express and live their deepest and long, maybe suppressed innermost, their femininity, their truest selves. So for them, it is as if the island lives through them, as if this feminine side of the island expresses itself also through other women whom I describe, other female characters who appear later in the novel. And for the men, for one of them, let's say Gerard, the husband of Marina, he sees the island as a woman who is giving him some peace in a very difficult moment in his marriage.
Right. Right. So, understanding these women, what I understand is your female characters are the main protagonists who go out of their comfort zone, who challenge themselves, who grow. They are the ones who take like these important steps in their journey across the book. Was this something that really happened with the characters, or did you sort that kind of a vibe from them? Like, it's really inspiring to see the real power of the characters are across all the females in the book. So could you explain about Marina, could you explain about the writer as well? Because we understand that the writer goes to Fuerteventura to write about something and like finds the plot coming together through the people that she meets. So eventually in the book, there are the women who have discovered themselves and risen above challenges, inspired like the island of Fuerteventura. So how did that come about? Could you please explain?
Yes, sure. So, as I said, the initial idea was about a love story.
Mhm.
It, 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 it was meant to be a love novel, a triangle,
Yes.
where two couples, like Gerard and Marina, who live in like Brussels. He's French. She's Bulgarian.
Mhm.
They are on the island on a holiday, and they meet this young German couple
Okay.
who are younger
Right.
than them. Already arriving, Marina sees at the airport the guy and Gert, and they see each other, and there is attraction between them. So that's how it starts. The contemporary part of the novel. It actually starts with the with prehistoric times with Tebebin and Tamonante, the mother and the daughters who lived on Fuerte Ventura back on the day.
Mhm.
But this only sets the scene for what is to happen later in the book, and some of the main topics which appear throughout the book. So this was my initial intention. This happens. But then when I started meeting all these people and like tracking down other historic persons who lived on the island, such as the teacher Esperanza Godes, who lived there in the 30s in Antigua, the German Gustav Winter, and other historic figures. I wanted to include them. I wanted to use them because it was so very interesting and very exciting. But how could I include them in a love story between two couples? This was not possible. So that's how I came up gradually, and it was a long process of thinking and working on the book until I came up with the structure of three parts. So basically, in the first part, it is when the writer goes there to write a novel about Unamuno and meets these two couples. And also meets Emilian, the photographer who also entered the book, and other people who live on the island.
Right.
The love story commences between with Marina and Gert. The women are being challenged in different ways. Marina, for her, she has been she had been in depression for 3 years after a very tragic incident. I would not explain what, as I don't want to spoil the book. In her life, so she has been depressed, and she basically had not experienced any joy, and meeting Gert for her is a reviving experience. It's a new, I call it the sensation. It's a new sensation, or well forgotten one, after this very heavy period in her life, and she dares to do things which should she had not done in her previous life. Karwa, also faced with a challenging situation, has to also adjust to it. The writer being between this, in between this two couple turns into something like a mediator between them, but she faces her own suppressed feelings and fears and uncertainties, and she has also to not that she has to, but she chooses also to overcome them, to move forward, but this is not happening overnight.
Right.
So in the first part, we have this these relationships commencing and evolving. Then at some point it's too much for the writer, and she leaves this setting, and then in the second part it's a completely different story. So the second part, it's not anymore the what has happened in the first part does not continue, but then we see Unamuno speaking and the writer in first person. So the first part is in third person, third part third person, second part first person.
Wow.
And then the writer and Unamuno share their experiences of the island. For Unamuno, I have used extracts from his letters from the island, from the essays which he has written about the island and on other topics. Basically, it's like mostly extracts from his work that are quoted. Only at a couple of places I speak on like his behalf using my own words, and to be honest, I like read over 1,000 pages written by him to be able to write very few pages where I say I Unamuno, me Unamuno. It's not an easy thing to speak on behalf of someone as great as he is.
Exactly.
And in the second part as well, the like writer reflects on things which happened in the first part. So now we see her perspective on what has happened, and she adds details to what has happened. And then in the third part, we are back to where we have left the two couples. We are back to this place, and this story continues, and all of this comes together through like Fuerteventura.
Wow.
Through all these characters who appear in the second part, other personalities appear as well, and other stories. As the writer travels and she finds these other persons, and she like traces their stories, they appear with like their true stories, what is known about her, and then I continue fictionally these stories, and I give my own imaginary explanation of what has happened to these people. Let's say in reality, this teacher, she comes to the island from somewhere else and she disappears, and there is no explanation. No one knows why she left. So in the story I tell, that is the explanation. What happened? It's a fictional story, but it is there. So that's how I have mixed reality and fiction in my novel. And then the other connecting part between all these stories, it is the and people. It is the triangulation. So always there are triangles. Whether there are love triangles, where there is this teacher who has two students who are rivals for her affections. There is always this triangular situation which goes through any time, through centuries. And I'll stop here, as again I don't want to like spoil too much the reading of the novel.
Right. To our viewers who are not aware about Miguel de Unamuno, he's one of the biggest philosophers and poets, writers, creative minds of the 18th century, who has had a huge impact on Spain's intellectual culture. And he was in exile in Fuerteventura for a long time, where a lot of his creative works actually came out. Fuerteventura, Irina, Fuerteventura has been a place which has been chosen by many polymaths, many creative minds, many writers, many poets, many experimenting souls from the world. Your book has a quote which says, Fuerteventura has marked the souls of all of us, its pilgrims, residents, writers, poets, forever. It was not us who lived her, she lived us. And she called us from her depths like a siren so that she could last forever through us. Her imperfect, yet passionate and yearning projections. Wow, such beauty for Fuerteventura. Could you tell why? Could you tell our viewers who have not been to Fuerteventura why this place, why they should visit Fuerteventura? Why is it so magical? Why does it inspire people? What is it?
You know, I think that with Fuerteventura, one either loves it or doesn't feel any connection. I have met also people who simply they couldn't feel the place. They didn't like it. They didn't like the landscape. But for us, who felt this instant connection, um, to me, it is like a landscape taken out of the Bible. And even if it is, and also Unamuno says this, so it's also his feeling of the island. That's how he also describes its landscape, and I can also relate to it. Albeit there are tourists, and Corralejo is a tourist place. um, I have been to one more Canary Island. I have been to like Gran Canaria, and to me, Gran Canaria was like the poor plain sister of like Fuerteventura. Like there are similarities in the landscape and all, but I didn't feel anything like this on Gran Canaria. It's hard to explain. There is a certain slowness. There is the beauty of the sunsets. There is the ocean. There are the surfers and this surf culture which adds to it. There is the past, and sadly, as I think most tourists or many of like those who visit the island stay just with the tourist part of it. Thanks to my book and also myself, when I went for the first time, it was the same for me. But thanks to the book, I was able to pick behind, and it was thanks to the people I met there as well, such as Concha, like chairwoman and founder of the association. Um, uh, Reis del Pueblo,
Yes.
who also helped me a lot in my research and put me in touch with people. So I went to the archive, to the library, and thanks to her, I met also Carmen, a centenarian who entered the book as well, and I had a beautiful meeting with Carmen. So thanks to these people, I first of all heard about the silent history of Fuerteventura. The way Concha put it, she said the like, history of Fuerteventura is a silent history, and that's in the book as well. And I was able to go into further layers and to experience the island also by meeting its local people and going to other cities, not only the key tourist attractions. And uh, for me, and I think for all those people who went, and many of them returned many times, and some of them stayed. It it is a place with soul. It is a place which it is a place for like connecting to yourself. I usually go there alone. There are very few people whom I agree to come with me. Usually I go alone, and I spend most of the time on my own, just reading, enjoying, connecting to the island, writing, and in the evening seeing my like friends, as I now have good friends on the island.
That's amazing. That's amazing. When do you plan to come and visit Fuerteventura again?
As soon as I can, given COVID and me now having a little baby, but hopefully, thank you. Hopefully, either this autumn or at the latest early next year, I'll come back, and I hope to also also meet you in person then.
Absolutely, absolutely. It would be a pleasure, Irina. It would be an absolute pleasure. Well, this has been so enticing and so refreshing to hear about She the Island from the author herself, and we wish her best of luck. I would highly recommend. I mean, I have read up to like 60 pages of the book, and I'm moving faster. And trust me, it's a grip, and it's beautiful, especially for the readers who have at least once in their lifetimes been to Fuerteventura, of reconnecting to the landscape, reconnecting to the soul, reconnecting to the magic that this place actually evokes in all of us. And y'all can check where to buy the book. There's a link inside this article from Amazon. Please purchase the book and support Irina and the love for this amazing island.